nothing.
Hey, whoa, hang on a second. I'm getting double feed here. I gotta mute this. There we go. Hey, what's up, Mental Health Nation? Hope everybody's having a great day. Hey, if you look real quick, that's is that your father, Lynn, hugging over your shoulder?
This is my dad, Maynardo. He's retired senior chief from the Navy.
Well, thank you for your service, and pull up a chair and join your daughter.
Thank you for your service too. Yeah.
If you want to get a chair, you can, Dad.
Okay.
But hey, everybody, thanks for tuning in. Sorry we started a little bit late. We had a couple of P's and Q's to do, mainly because I'm back in Italy and I had to, get things reset back up again here. But super excited to be back, in Italy. You guys do know I'm enjoying my time here in Italy. But before we jump into all of that, you see up down in the left-hand corner, the Visa Across America QR code. You can scan that with your phone. You can go and donate for the wreaths to ensure that during the holiday season, those wreaths are put on the graves of the veterans that have gone onto the other side. It's a super good program, and I'm super happy to be a part of them. And along with that, Reads Across America Radio replays my podcast on Fridays at 8 p.m. and Sundays at 10 p.m. It's super easy to find. You just download the iHeartRadio app, the TuneIn app, or the Odyssey app, and search for Reads Across America Radio. And not only will you have my great programming, but they have about 30, 40 other podcasts on the shows. They really have expanded it this year. And I'm always super excited and thankful to be part of them. Along with that, you can still get my Mental Health Warrior book. I did put it on sale this week, so I'll put it on sale. I think for $19.99, I put it on sale. I'll probably do that through the first of the year. So you can go on and you can order that. I will sign those books if you order them through my website, but you can also find them through, Barnes and Noble, Amazon, and just wherever you buy those books. And with that, you see the 10th Mountain Whiskey and Spirit up there in the top corner. I did bring about 8 bottles of 10th Mountain back with me to Italy here. They made it through customs and nothing got broke and nothing got lost. So they packed their whiskey amazing, their bourbon, when they ship it. And so, it was inside my suitcase in the original box, and it was just great. But with all that, Lynn, thanks for joining me. I know you've been super busy. I know you had
always
today. Are you back home now? That looks like you're home.
Yes, I'm back home. Where was I the other week?
I was in Missouri, so I'm not too sure where you were at.
No, I was coming back from D.C.
That's right.
I was in the parking lot.
Yeah. Well, and I apologize to everybody for last week. I was at my brother's house, and we got about 35 minutes into the podcast, and all of a sudden, whoop, everything just went dark. And I tried like 5-6 times to get on, and I just his internet cut. It wasn't the power went out; the internet cut. So he has Google Fiber, so I don't know what was going on there, but I couldn't get back on.
Now I know what to say when the power goes out. I'm just gonna close it out because I was like, like not knowing what to say.
Yeah, I know how that is. Well, hey, listen, we've had 3 power outages today here in Italy. I think it's because of the heat. So if we do blip out, I will apologize, but we'll just go ahead and close the podcast out at that time because, just like Lynn says, you run out of things to say, and it's just not the same. So I totally get that. So I see you wearing Black Rifle Coffee t-shirt.
Yes. Well, yeah, I love Black Rifle Coffee. I go up to them. Their headquarters is close to Savannah, Georgia, and so when I go up there, I get their shirts and their merch and like a cup of coffee. But yeah.
Well, they need to jump on board and just go ahead and sponsor us.
I know, right? I got to go talk to them. I know people that work there too. So
yeah, there you go.
If you're listening, sponsor us. No, but
come on.
I'm really happy that my dad is here visiting. He's here for the week, and he's retired Navy and he's retired Merchant Marine. So he did 22 years in the Navy and then 20 years in the Merchant Marines. And so he's finally
it with foil, I think, right, Jake?
Yeah, he's finally enjoying his retirement. So he travels a lot, and so he travels from like Philippines to California to Dallas. And he's a big supporter of our podcast. So if you always see like the likes and stuff, he's liking the podcast and he's listening all the time.
Well, it's interesting you said the Merchant Marine. So I had a great Uncle Harry, because my great Uncle Harry, he that's what popped up on the screen here. He was a captain in the Merchant Marines for years, and he sailed all over the place. Hang on a second, my computer's blipping because Microsoft is trying to bring up a page. There we go.
Yeah, they do. They sell all over the place. But the cool thing when my dad was in the Merchant Marines and I was active duty Navy, so the Merchant Marine ships, they help supply the Navy ships, so they follow us around, like even in the Middle East,
Mhm.
even during deployment. So he was actually one of our merchant ships that was following around the Nimitz.
Oh, really? Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, we did a replenishment at sea. We call it a RAS, or underway replenishment, unrep, and just getting supplies back and forth from ship to ship. So he was I remember he was on the bridge and then I was on the bridge and then we were able to talk on what's called bridge to bridge. Um
Oh, wow, that's cool.
yeah, yeah. That was like back in the early 2000s. So
Wow, that's awesome. Well, when my uncle Harry, when he passed away,
mhm.
I took a lot of his paintings that he collected, his oil paintings, just in his travels, from China, from the Philippines, and actually we wound up with an Izagani, which is a fairly famous painter from the Philippines,
Oh
and we
yeah,
have one of his original paintings. They say it's worth about $30,000-$40,000, but to me it's priceless. So it doesn't matter what it's worth; I'll never sell it. Actually, my son, who's part Filipino, he'll once he gets his own apartment and stuff, I'll give him the painting and he can have it. Just to keep a hold of that heritage, of his family and stuff. So yeah, pretty cool. So hey, with that, we're getting into dog days of summer, and me and Lynn was trying to figure out what to talk about today. If you saw my Instagram post, I was gonna do a 8K race today and wound up doing 11K.
wow.
Feeling pretty tired from that, yeah. So I needed to push myself. I signed up for my 8th straight Army 10 miler. So I just need to go ahead and start getting in shape for that. It's in October, which I'll be fine for it. But
Mhm.
I'm super excited that I'm still able to run.
That's
But
cool.
I do one long run a week, and so all the other times in the week when I do run, they're just short runs. So I think that's training program has worked out pretty well for me in the past. I think I'll continue that. But as we're drawing into the halfway through the summer now, we got August coming up. School's going to start soon. And so it's starting to become a really stressful time for everybody. Plus, it's getting hot. I mean, it was hot
Oh
here in
yeah.
Italy. It
Oh
is
my
hot
goodness.
here. I think it's averaging 105 a day, roughly about 40, Celsius, 40 degrees Celsius. But it's a little bit drier heat, so it's not like in Virginia or other places when it gets humid. Florida, it's not humid here, so it still feels hot, but it's just not hot. It's like Kuwait hot, but a little bit cooler than Kuwait.
If you're watching on the screen, you could see how my skin goes like really, really dark during the summer because I'm always outside. So I've been outside. I just came back from New Smyrna Beach here in Florida, and it's funny because it's nicknamed the capital. Oh no, it's called the shark bite capital of the world. So I just came back from there in one piece.
Hmm.
But I do have friends that surf, so they were surfing out there, and I watched them. It was a friend of mine's birthday, and we stayed at a really cool, like traditional Florida motel that is
Yeah,
on the beach. So it was really really neat to be out there. It was my first time, but got a lot of sun, and it was really really hot. But the thing about Florida is that it's also our rainy season, hurricane season. So
mm.
even though it gets really, really hot, the rain's going to come eventually. So right now it's storming.
It's. I think the rainy season here starts in September. I
Okay.
think end of August, September, and it rains quite a bit when the rainy season does happen. I've never been through one, so this will be my first one. I know Lloyd and Crystal went through it last year when they came out because they came out in September. So
Hmm.
Lloyd could start school here in Italy. It's hard to believe we've been here almost a year already. Doesn't seem
Yeah. By
possible.
fast.
It's crazy. We only got 2 years left, and we got so much more traveling to do. We just gotta start ramping it up here. But of course, she's limited to how much leave she has on how much travel she
Mhm.
can do. But I got my older brother coming in October, and my other brother, whose wife passed away. That reason why I stayed in Missouri so long, or the U.S. so long. He's going to come on and talk about the foundation that he
Cool.
brought up for her, and really it's really cool because this foundation gives scholarships to women who want to go into the sciences because she was a
So,
lab technician and worked her way up through there. So we'll talk more about that later. But hey, listen, if you're feeling the stress of summer, you're feeling the heat, you got to find ways to cool down, find ways to do fun stuff, take time for yourself. And Lynn brought up a good point. She goes to the beach, and I tell you what, walking on the beach and grounding is so important. If you don't know anything about grounding, Google it. And that's why when you go on vacation, you're on the beach and you feel so much better. It's because now your feet are touching the earth and you're getting that good energy from the earth. And it's pretty amazing. Of course, the salt water is a good conductor. And so that's why, Lynn, you look like you're back to 22 years old now from all the beach time.
I wish. I actually was sitting at the VA today, and some young cat, he was like 26 years old. He's like, he goes, "What are you here for?" Because he's there with his stepdad, and I'm like, I thought he was a veteran, and I'm like,
Mm.
no, I'm here for myself because I'm an old lady, so I'm doing old people testing, mammogram, liver scan, like the works, right? And he goes, "What? You're only like you." I was like, he thinks that I was between 25 and 32. I'm like, no, I'm 40. I'm
Wow.
40. I've
Hey.
been getting the mammograms every year since I was 36. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, thankfully came back. Um, Everything's normal, so I'm healthy, thankfully. But yeah, I really love when I get those compliments where people, think I look younger than what I am.
Yeah, yeah, even for men, right? So,
Yeah.
when I was in Missouri, my brother and I went out with a high school friend. Now, they dated in school. I just knew Penny as a friend, and she told me, she was like, "Wow, you've really kept yourself in good shape," because I haven't seen her for 20 years.
Hmm.
So that was always a nice compliment to get, because I do, my goal was to be ripped in my 50s, and it's kind of hard to keep up with that, but I've done pretty good with it. So I think, at any age, no matter how old you are, you can find a way to work out and find a way to keep yourself in good shape. And I just find things that work for me, because just like you, Lynn, I have injuries and I have to work around them. And some days are good, some days are bad. And you just got to figure that out for your body. And I think for a lot of people, they have a hard time with that, or they get too upset or depressed if an old injury comes up and they can't work out for a couple of days or a week or so. But it's okay. Just let yourself heal and you can get right back into it. You're not going to lose anything in a week, even though your
Right.
mind may tell you you're going to lose stuff in a week. Because my mind's the same way. If I don't work out after 2 days, I think I'm losing all my strength, which is ridiculous. But that's just the way my brain works. But it's also important for your mental health. I mean, it's good to get out there and enjoy things, enjoy the weather. Lynn's got her Jeep now, and I'm sure you're pounding around in the sand. I'm sure it's enjoying that.
Yeah. So the cool part about being in Florida and having a disabled veterans plate is that you get a lot of perks. So in Volusia County, where New Smyrna Beach is, that's also where Daytona, Ormond Beach, and Ponce Inlet is. You can drive on those beaches and those inlets and those like little barrier islands, but it costs $20 to get in. So one of the days we paid the $20, and then the next day the lady was, I guess she said that she was trying to flag us down, and she was what happened was she was able to give me like a free pass to get in, so I don't have to pay anymore for being disabled veteran. So that's
Nice.
really, yeah.
Hey, old car friend of mine, Marvin, just signed in. So, hey, Marvin, thanks for signing in. I hope your legs continue to heal. He was part of the car club when I was in Virginia with my Mustang, going to car shows and stuff. He had a beautiful red Mustang, and he's been dealing with some injuries now, but I think he's going to get over it. But Marvin, thanks for tuning in. I just saw that you jumped on, so thank you for that.
Hey, Marvin.
Yeah. So, how many more ducks do you got? You had like 600 ducks yet?
No, 0 ducks. But I guarantee you, if I go to like another IW event, because they know that I don't like the ducks, they're gonna duck me.
You're gonna come back and your Jeep will be full of ducks. Don't leave
Yeah.
your sunroof open if you have one.
Yes. Like, speaking of which, I haven't. I pretty
Oh
much
yeah,
taken
update us
the
on
summer off.
Irreverent Warrior. We haven't talked about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I've taken the summer off from Irreverent Warriors, but not only because it's hot and it's summer vacation, um, but it's just there's a lot going on, and I would rather do a hike when the weather is better. But
Yeah.
I do have I know I was talking about Monica, how she's been planning all these trips. So my next one is definitely I know there's New Orleans in October. It's that is Columbus Day weekend. And
Okay.
then Key West is in December. So those are the ones that I'm gonna try to go to.
I may try to go to the one in London. I think there was one in London, 14 September or something like that, if I remember
Yeah,
right.
yeah, I'm gonna have to look it up. Irreverent. I haven't been I know I'm terrible. I haven't really been keeping up.
Well, that's okay. You gotta take a break
Yeah.
for a minute now and then.
But
But
I
it's kind of funny.
know they have like in Georgia they had like a get together where they had a family day at Jekyll Island, and that was a big success. Everybody showed up. So
Do they have any in Missouri coming up? Because I'd like to give my brother that
um,
information. It might be good for him to go to one.
yeah, I'm sure. We just got to look it up on irreverentwarriors.com and see if
Yeah,
there's
I'll go look
anything
at that and
going
check it out
on.
and send
Yeah.
it to him. But it's kind of funny. So Marvin, the car show guy, there's a group of them that every Thursday they would get together and have lunch. And of course, they all, thought I was in Italy because they didn't know I was coming back. And so I
Yeah.
went and surprised him at their lunch. I had text Marvin and said, "Hey, you guys having lunch today?" Just out of the blue. But I think he kind of got cued in that maybe I might show up. So it was kind of fun just to show up and talk with the old guys again and rehash memories about going to car shows and stuff, because I really enjoyed that. To me, that was something fun I really enjoyed doing. I'm spending the next 3 years with my buddy Tom, fixing a lot of things on the Mustang, so when I get back it's going to look completely different, still the same color, but I'm just changing stuff on the interior and updating stuff and changing the engine compartment, so just to make it a little bit better. So super excited about that, super thankful for Tom for taking over that for me and watching my car while I'm here. I did go visit him for a week.
Was
And
he in
he
Missouri or in Virginia?
he lives in Yorktown.
Okay, in Yorktown in Virginia. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, remember we did the podcast from his house
Yeah. Yeah.
2 weeks ago. Yeah. And
Okay, cool.
he makes his own liquor, and he
Mm-hmm.
made this one called apple pie. And I kid you not, Lynn, it tastes exactly like apple pie. I mean, exactly. I mean, all the flavors of the apple pie, to even include the Cool Whip on top. This drink
Wow.
covers all of that. It's amazing. He's actually had a bourbon factory in Kentucky try to buy his recipe, and he wouldn't sell it.
Wow.
We went in there with the master brewer, whatever they call him, and the guy tasted it, and he said, generally when people say they make their own liquor, they talk a good game, but it's not that great. But he says, you beat me hands down.
Yeah.
And then they tried to buy it. Tom says, no, he wasn't ready to sell it yet. So that's pretty. So we were drinking that and sitting in his pool, which it's fairly strong.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of fun.
So that's awesome. I do want to backtrack because I did look up the schedule. Hold on one second.
Okay.
No, I'm doing a podcast. My son's trying to get the TV on. Hold on.
Oh. Well, while Lynn goes and takes care of that, hey, she's gonna look up the Irreverent Warrior schedule.
Yeah.
We're going to dive into that. So if you haven't know anything, just go to irreverentwarrior.com. They have hikes out there for the veterans and stuff. I went on my first one up in Trieste, Italy. It was super fun, and I loved it. And what were you going to say, Lynn?
Okay,
The
sorry.
Trieste one?
Sorry about that. My son, he's autistic, so I have to.
No, it's okay. It's okay. It's fine.
Okay, so for Missouri, it's going to be this weekend on Saturday. It's July 20th in St. Louis, Missouri.
Oh, okay. He's flying back. He went to Boston to visit friends. He flies back Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
So
Then then this month there's also Galveston, Texas, and Indianapolis on the 27th. So
is there anyone later in the year in Missouri?
The one in Virginia Beach is September 14th.
Oh, okay.
So that
Where's
one,
London?
and I don't know what else is close to Missouri. Let's see if there's Kansas. No. If there is
Oklahoma, Arkansas.
Yeah.
Arkansas is closed.
Arkansas was literally last weekend.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't see they have an Oklahoma City chapter, but I don't see one for the rest of the year.
I'll just keep watching and try to find out.
Yeah, because it might change. Like these things change all the time. You never know. So,
but I think I'll look it up and try to go to the one in London. I think that'll be fun. I know the one I went and
London is September 14th.
It's September 14th.
Yeah. September 14th. So
if you look into that, because last time we all traveled up there. When I went to Trieste, of course, Lloyd and Crystal went, and of course they did their own thing. While I went on a 9-mile hike. Mm-hmm. But it was they had a lot of breaks. I mean, it was a lot of that. Lana, you talked about that for so long. I didn't do one. But if you're a veteran out there and you even me, I just enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun just to visit with these people and talk with them and share stories and just talk about, life in general and what's going on. And we talked some about a military career, but not really. I mean, just basically, how long did you serve and, what did you serve in?
Right.
And your rank, I think, is to the extent of the conversations we had. But most of the time, it was just talking about, everything else that goes on in life.
Right. What you're doing, what you do right now for work, your family, VA stuff, like everything.
Yeah, I'm not on my mental health warrior. I don't know if Brian's on or not. He didn't chime in yet, so maybe he can get on. I'll have to text him later and see how he's doing. But with that, Lynn, with everything going on this summer and stuff, there's a lot of. I'm not going to dive into it, but I'm just going to say there's a lot of things going on in the news, and just be sure to take care of yourself out there. And if you're going to rallies and stuff, make sure you watch your six and you're paying attention to what's going on around you. And that's with anything, right? It's always good to have personal awareness of what's going on around you, and especially if you travel this time to Italy. Of course, it's very busy with a lot of tourists. And if you go to the touristy areas like Rome and Florence, all those Milan, all those, there are pickpocketers out there and things like that. So just remember, you're not in the States, and it's probably don't want to be carrying around a backpack around unless you keep it in the front of you, and make sure you put your wallet and your cell phones in your front pocket, because it's harder to pickpocket out of your front pocket, especially if you're standing in a crowd. Especially going through the Coliseum and stuff like that, because there's just so many people around and it's very hot. So be sure to, be wary of that, because, temperatures here can get way over 100. And so I'm sure it's get hotter in August. So just be careful out there while you're vacation, because you won't be able to enjoy your vacation, right? When you go to the beach or when you do anything, you don't want to have any issues or problems.
You know what a lot of people don't think of? Like, you can bring your personal, like, portable fan that you could recharge. So I always have one of those, and a walking around umbrella. It doesn't have to be raining to have a walking around umbrella. It helps protect from the UV suns, gives you that shade walking around. So I always do that.
Yeah. That's a good point. I never thought, I never do that. Of course, I'm like you, I'm outside all the time. So even though it's hot here, it doesn't particularly bother me, because I'm just used to it.
I also tell my husband, like what you're saying, like you have to have situational awareness. Be aware of your surroundings, because you never know what's going to happen. Especially if you have little kids, these days you don't know if they're going to snatch them up or whatever. So just always be aware of your surroundings, and like look for a way out or a safe space that you can go to.
Well, in here, they get the scam where you'll be walking around and a guy will walk up to you and try to put a bracelet on you, and he's acting like he's giving it to you, but then they'll make a scene to try to get money, to give money.
Oh, wow.
And so you got to be careful. Yeah, they said it's like a friendship bracelet or something stupid. They tried that with us when we went to Rome, and it was kind of funny because the guy went to go stick it on Junior, and I thought Krista was going to beat the hell out of him. And she turned around and yelled at him and said something to him in Italian, and that kid just kind of walked away. He didn't want to know. But yeah, so you got to be mindful of that. It's always important to be safe out there. Hey, and you know what? Make sure your maintenance on your vehicle's right, because the hot weather will zap your car battery if it's getting kind of up in age, and so you don't want to have a car break down, especially on the side of the road. But make sure you have plenty of provisions in your car. Extra water and things like that if you're taking a long trip, because that's important too, because you never know when something's going to happen. So make sure you check your spare tire. We want everybody to have fun out there as we're winding down the summer. I think it's very important.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I remember one time there was like a big explosion in my friend's car, and it was really a can of soda, and it exploded in the car. So
wow, yeah. That'll do it. They've had they talk about it out here. Water bottles sitting on the dash where the sun can hit it will if there's still water, it can reflect through it and act like a magnifying glass. And there's actually cars out here that catch on fire because of that, because the sun's so strong. And so that's something to be mindful too. If you leave water, bottled water in your car and stuff, maybe sitting on your dash, if it's in the sun and that angle's just right, you can catch your car on fire. They've had a couple cars out here catch on fire with that. And that's what happens in the States.
Wow.
But that's something you just never think about. Because, in survival training, they teach you how to start a fire with you can start a fire with a water bottle, right? Get the sun just right and have it reflect through. Start a fire. And so it's the same premise of that. If the sun's just right and it's sitting in your car, it can shine through and catch your dash on fire, your floorboard or something. It can happen.
Yep. There's only 3 things you need to start a fire. The heat, how to transfer that heat, and oxygen or something like that.
Yeah. And then next thing, you walk outside and you don't have a car no more.
Oh my gosh. That's terrible.
Yeah, that would be horrible. Oh, and another quick note too, if you're coming to Italy, I highly suggest that you look at taking public transportation and not drive around, because if you're not used to it, it is really crazy here. And if you rent a big car like you can in the States and drive around, you will not be able to drive around here. you cannot there. I mean, there's places where my little Toyota Yaris has a hard time going through sometimes in roads. And so, if you rent a big van or something, you won't be able to get around very easy. But the public transportation is easy here. The trains are easy. And, if you do come and visit, I just want you to have the best time, possible. Because, Italy is fun to come and visit. There's a lot of things to do here. We're going to go back to traveling inside of Italy after the tourist season. So we'll pick back up going around Italy once the tourist season ends in September. And then we'll go to Florence and Milan and those places. Because we just didn't get a chance to before the tourist season started. So,
do they have like big festivals out there at all, like during this time, during tourist season?
they do have some festivals. I know next year, I forget what they call it. I have to look it up. But there's once every 25-year festival going on.
Mm-hmm.
And it only happens once every 25, and it's happening all next year. So like a lot of the airlines who don't normally have direct flights to Italy, to Naples and Rome, are starting to have direct flights in January. Like I know United only does it in the summertime flights, but I think they're going to start in January too. And I think American is too, because of that big celebration going on. I don't remember what they call it. I have to go look. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Because I just learned about it the other day.
So I just renewed my passport.
Oh, there you go.
Expired July 6th. So every 10 years, they already came up on that mark for me to renew that passport. So I'm excited to go for new adventures. Maybe Italy might be in the cards.
Well, I know a place where you can stay. Also too, okay, keep this in mind. In 2025, there is a change where you have to get a tourist visa to travel inside the European Union. That is a new thing. And so you need to make sure you know the steps in doing that paperwork before you come. And that starts January of 2025.
Wow, that's coming up soon. The funny thing, I saw a meme that said, so 4th of July is passed. It's already more than halfway through the year. Basically, we have to shop for Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas. So it's basically 2025 now. Happy New Year.
That is true, though. I mean,
It goes by
you go into Costco or Walmart somewhere back in there, and it's not even Halloween yet, and they're putting out Thanksgiving and Christmas stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, can't we just get through one?
So if you do plan on traveling to European Union, might as well start your visa process now, right? Because I think it takes like, I don't know, 3 to 6 months, something like that, to get it done.
So I found the text that I sent it to Pepe, my Italian friend, asking about it. So in 2025, Rome will welcome pilgrims from all over the world to celebrate the Jubilee year. 2025 will be a Jubilee year or a holy year in the Catholic Church, which is a year dedicated to celebration, forgiveness, and renewal. So I guess all next year I'm partying in Italy. Hell yeah.
There you go. Nothing wrong with that. That sounds great.
That's what we do every year here. So if you're traveling to Italy next year, just know it's going to be a year of celebration. So there's going to be lots of things going on. Pepe just texted me. That's funny. So, hey, everybody, I hope everybody's doing good. If you want to throw a question out there on Facebook or, a Pacific, throw it out there. We'll be sure to answer it. One thing that, I talked about, of course, my brother was married. I'm going to jump in this real quick because I just feel the need to talk about it, Lynn.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm kind of sad about it too. I mean, they were married for 37 years. His wife lost her battle with breast cancer. This was her second stint with it. And it's just sad altogether. But, for my brother, now he's alone in the house. And of course, she passed away in the home, in their bedroom. And that's kind of what they want. Hey, Monica, thanks for tuning in. But he just got to find his new norm, and he doesn't know what that looks like. And he texted me the other day, and he said, because he was kind of in a funk. And, family members, you can tell when somebody's in a funk, especially if something tragic happened. And he said he just came to the realization that he'll never see his wife again. And, and I think he kind of realized that when he went to a trip to Boston to see their friends. And this is the first trip he went, obviously, without her. And they were at the funeral and all this other stuff. But and of course, I talked to him for, quite a while after that because, very, concerned for him and how is he feeling. But, for anybody that there has suffered a loss like that, and especially with the track accident that happened while you were camping on Memorial Day weekend, even if it's if it's an accident and happens immediately, or if it's something you know that's coming, it never makes it easier. It's always gonna be hard. And I'm hoping, I'm trying to get him to come to Italy for a while, and I
Mhm.
think it would be good for him because he was her caretaker. I mean, as
Yeah.
she was getting sick, he's the one that got up in the middle of the night, and he's the one that cleaned the sheets and did all that. And he just needs to have a little fun. I think he just needs to. And she was wanting to do that, absolutely. And I think,
Just take his time.
yeah, he just needs to go out and have. He just needs to get a break. I think sometimes that when people go through something like that, they forget that it's okay for them to take a break and just to go live a little bit. And you define that how you want to yourself. But it was a pretty emotional. You go from winning the Emmy like I did, and then going home to Missouri and dealing with that for 2 weeks. It's
That's
quite,
all high emotions.
yeah, emotional
Like
roller
one
coaster.
high and then another high, and then they're
Mhm.
not necessarily all good.
Yeah, yeah. And I'll be honest with you, by the time I made it back here, I was pretty mentally wore out. I got back in on Monday, here to Italy. And so I think for me, going for that run today really kind of helped me a lot. I mean, to be honest with you, the only reason I ran so far is because I had a lot of things on my mind.
Mhm.
And, for me to, run and walk or whatever, it
It's
was,
therapy.
there
Run
it was therapy. Just
Mhm.
like you going to the beach, that's therapy for you, right? That's
Right.
all.
Just
Got to go to
listening
the
to
beach, got to get my therapy in.
Mhm. It is
So,
watching this.
what do you guys do out there for your therapy? So I run, and Lynn goes to the beach. Although I think I like Lynn's better. Now I do go to the beach quite a bit here. Now I don't go so much when it's summertime, just because the beaches are packed. But of course, this fall, and of course, over the winter, the water here is not too cold, and the days are warm, so we'll go to the beach. I'll get in the water when it's 50 degrees. It doesn't bother me none. Lloyd will get in and
Oh
play
no,
with it.
that's too cold. No, I'll get hypothermia. No, thank you.
We were Monopoly in end of February, and it was like 65 degrees outside, 60,
Mhm.
65, and the water temperature was 53 degrees, 54 degrees. Me and Lloyd got in it. We didn't have any issues. You just get
Yeah.
out every now and then to warm up, but you can get used to it. I think you just got to know your body limits, right?
Hopefully, or make sure you have like flotation devices. They're not allowed to be called life-saving devices anymore because they don't
Mm.
really save lives. You have to know
Mhm.
how to use them, especially if if you're out on a boat or even if you're kayaking out in the water with kids, or even jet
Oh,
skiing,
absolutely,
you know,
yeah.
you have to have those flotation devices.
Well, and I had a boat for a lot of years because we lived there at Fort Monroe, and I'd walk
Mhm.
across the street, get on the marina, and go fish almost every single day. But the boys always wore their life vest. I mean, the time they stepped out of the house before they got to the marina, their life vest was on, and they kept them on. Now we bought different ones that was a little bit more comfortable for them to wear, if we're going to be out fishing for a long time.
Mhm.
Um, but they always kept the life vest on, and so because that's important. And you need to teach your kids to swim. Lloyd's taking swimming lessons. He was a fairly good swimmer, but he's taking lessons here. I'm so proud of him. I'm gonna tell you this. Lloyd's 9 years old. He turns 10 in 2 weeks. And you know what he does? He gets up in the morning, he packs his bag, he rides his bike to his swim lessons, right? He finished his swim lesson. He showers at the pool, changes his clothes, and then rides his bike over for a summer camp at SAC. It's all here on base.
Wow, he does that all on his own.
Yeah, and then I don't see him
Wow.
again until he comes home at 6 or
Oh,
6:30. And
he's so
but
responsible.
yeah, I know, right? It's and so tomorrow he's skipping swim lessons tomorrow because they have a field trip. They're going to some big bouncy house thing here,
Mhm.
and so he's not going to go to. And he politely reminded me. But I asked him the other day. I said, Lloyd, um, last night I said, "Do you want me to go with you to swim lessons?" He's like, "No, Dad, I got it. You don't need to go. I can do this all
Oh,
myself."
that's so good.
Yeah,
Yeah, pretty soon he's gonna be like doing roof repairs and like he won't need.
I know, right? Well, it's but that's one nice thing about being here on base, right? Is
Oh,
Lloyd
that's true.
as a child can experience and have that responsibility, and the parents, be safe about it because it's the base is safe. I don't know if you've ever been here to Sports Site, Lynn. I think you said you came to Italy once,
Mhm.
but it's not a very big base. It's about maybe 3 by 4 miles. It's not huge, and of course, everybody that comes on, you're on here for a reason. You don't,
Yeah.
And so you can walk around and do whatever. But I mean, just for Lloyd to be able to have that freedom, right, and learn that responsibility of him riding his bike back and forth, and getting up and taking himself to swim lessons, and Junior used to do a lot of things by himself that he could. But when I'm gone for long periods of time, I'm the cook of the house, right? And Crystal doesn't cook that well. And so Lloyd's had almost stopped eating because he just didn't like his mom's food. No fault of hers. I've just always cooked, and so he's used to my way of cooking.
Yeah.
And so what I told him is, I said, well, Lloyd, you're old enough now. And so what I want you to do is I'll get you a notebook, and you can start cooking with me, and I'll show you how I cook things. So when I'm gone and mom's cooking, then maybe she's not putting the right spice in it or the right, garlic powder. So I'll show you how I make all the dishes. And that way you'll have your little notebooks, and then you can help mom cook.
Yeah.
And then if she's not doing something right, you can tell her adjust it, so then you can eat. So
Funny. That's like what my dad did with me, because my dad was a cook and my mom didn't really cook when I was growing up. But as far as like living on base goes, I forgot all about that because my middle son, we didn't live on base. We lived just off base, but he went to school on base. And so he was able to like walk around, go to the parks, go to the library, go to all his things. But it's been a long time since that's happened, like 6-7 years. So I forgot about all that. But that's one of the perks about living on base, that it's so safe for the kids. And they're free to like pretty much like be their own person.
Yeah, they can ride their bike. And of course, support sites. Basically, it's all the families that here. So there's like I think 1,000 or 2,000 families here. But it's interesting. So you see the people that come to Italy, and they've never been here before, and they say, "Oh, well, we want to live out." And Italy's a fairly safe country anyway. But they want to live out in the community, and stuff. But if you have kids, it's not like in America where unless you're in a big villa, you're not going to have a big green space yard and other stuff. So there's certain, freedoms and places to play. And of course, they drive crazy around here. And so you have to be careful crossing the street and all that stuff. And so I think for some parents, we have a parties here or whatever, and they say, man, I really wish we would have, done our research and moved on base and lived on base for that reason. Because like I said, Lloyd he'll go out and he'll come home and eat dinner and go back outside, and we tell him to come home when the lights come on, just like when I was a kid.
Yeah.
9:30 at night or whatever. He'll come back home. So it's just what a great experience for him.
Yeah, that's amazing.
But hey, we're gonna do it, man. Yeah, go Lloyd. Yeah, go Lloyd. So yeah, so it's he does lemonade stands. Him and his friend Teddy. Now Teddy's now living in Singapore, but these boys would set up a lemon stand just right over the way here, and they would sometimes be out there for like 2 hours and make 60 or 80 euro.
Wow.
Because the Italians love. Yeah, I'm like, man, I'd be out there every day. It's like, yeah, come back with like $30,000 in your bank account. Keep that up.
That's
but
like
yeah, they'll pick a hot
DC.
day and they'll go out there for a couple hours and sell it till they run out.
In DC or Pittsburgh, people just bring out their coolers and sell the one water bottle from Costco for $5 each, and people are buying them. So.
Of course, I lived in Virginia, and they had the big expose, and they were telling people not to buy those water bottles because they were refilling it.
Oh, wow.
And sometimes it's not the best water they refill it with. So they're warning people not to buy their. I mean, you can tell if it's not been opened and stuff, but they're telling people to pay attention to that if you're going to buy one. Just make sure it hasn't been opened. Because, you can't hide that, the click thing.
No.
I didn't hear what happened to the lineman in Dallas.
What happened? Let's Google.
Oh, yeah. I did see that. Yes. So with the hurricane in Houston, was it Houston or Dallas? I think it was Dallas. They had these guys come in from out of town to help repair all their down power lines from the hurricane. And these people were handing out water bottles, but they had laced them with fentanyl.
It was in Houston. Lineman
Houston, yeah.
Lineman accused of assaulting fellow linemen in Galveston and Houston area also.
Wow. Isn't that crazy? Why would you do that? You could kill somebody. Fentanyl could kill you quick.
That's crazy. Yeah. Um,
Crazy.
you just can't be too safe nowadays. Like a lot of people, they give the linemen water and food because they're out there like. And when we
Sure.
talk about linemen, we're talking about the people who's fixing the power lines. So at
Yeah.
first when you said linemen, I'm thinking football.
Oh yeah.
But no, linemen who's fixing the power lines and the electricity after a hurricane or a big storm.
Yeah.
So a lot of people, like, they bring them food trains, water,
Mhm.
things like that. So it seems like you just can't. I don't know if they're
Sad.
doing that. Yeah, it's just sad.
But hey, we're not going to end on a sad note. So hey, we're going to go ahead and get this wrapped up. It's late here. It's almost midnight. I'm ready to go to bed. But I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Once again, with mental health, it's just, taking care of yourself and knowing what your limits are, but looking out for each other. I say that all the time. But, before we jump into all that, you see the Reach Across America QR code on the upper left. You can scan that to donate just $5 to make sure wreath is on the graves of the fallen soldiers. It's a great program. It's something they do all the time. I know money's tight, but maybe you can spare $5 for that. And hey, if you're looking for great bourbon, like I said, I brought a bunch of bourbon back, and the guys are chopping at the bit, waiting for me to get back to Kenya Restaurant to bring some of the bourbon over there that I brought back. So I'm going to do that on Friday. But with that, hey, Lynn, why don't you tell them about the Veteran Trash Talk shop that we have?
All right, guys, check out our VTT shop. It is VeteranTrashTalk.com. And on there, you can find all our merch. We have a great button that has like 10 sayings on there. The shirt, I think Cliff is wearing a shirt right now
Yeah.
that's on there. That's one of
Yeah.
our original OG shirts. And you
Yeah.
can check out all our podcasts on there, including the main one with the boys, the Trash Talk Hour on Saturdays.
I think this
And
one says I have my drinking buddy. My shirt has a drinking problem or something on the back. I forget what it says. But you can get my Mental Health Warrior T-shirt out there too. But also, hey, the host threw out there in case you guys don't see it. You can go to 10thwhiskey.com, and if you use the code VTT, I think you save like 10% on your order. And they'll let you know if they can ship to your state. You just have somebody there that's 21 years or older, and they'll ship it directly to your house. And like I said, the way they package these bottles. It'd be almost impossible unless you ran over with a truck to break them. But, along with that, be sure if you missed a podcast, you can re-listen to it on Reads Across America Radio, Fridays at 8 p.m. and Sundays at 10 p.m. Super easy to find. Just download the iHeartRadio app, the TuneIn app, or the Odyssey app. Search for Reads Across America Radio for not only my program, but all the great programming they have and all the great things. And I want to wish that if you want to buy my books, it's still available out there, The Mental Health Warrior. And if you order through my website, I will sign it and ship it to you. But with that, Lynn, do you have anything else to say before we close out?
I have nothing else. Stay safe out there. Stay hydrated. Put on some sunblock.
Yeah.
And have fun the rest of the summer.
That's right. Everybody take care, and just remember, we are our brothers and sisters keepers. So, hey, just make sure you follow up with somebody if they've had something go on in their life. Maybe not tragic, but if maybe they just got quiet or something like that. Be sure and reach out and make sure that they're just doing okay. Sometimes just saying hi is all they need. And Allison, thanks for tuning in. She said she tuned in late, but that's one great thing about podcasts. You can go back and watch them whenever you want.